there. In today's video I want to add some more information regarding another clip I've already uploaded once, namely why propaganda always worked. And when you think about it, it actually goes hand in hand what I'm about to talk today. You need to keep in mind when it comes to history, time itself, people have always been punished, put in fear, made fun of by the time's establishment in order for them to be controlled, in order for them to be obedient, provoking certain scenarios, certain approvals of the population, for example, to go to war, to hate on each other, to never basically start to distrust the establishment. People were always put in competition with each other, so there would be never a focus together to actually come united, think clearly, be patient, put all information together, once again, thinking clearly, and eventually going after those who had been playing them all those years, all those decades, all those centuries. Fear is a very powerful emotion. It is low in frequency. It is indeed very, very powerful, making it unable for people to properly think, making it actually possible for people to freeze and not understand a situation from a different perspective. They are completely overwhelmed with what is going on in front of them or around them, for example. And having the ability to make someone freeze, make someone fear for extended periods of time, gives someone actually the possibility to, at the same time, make them beg for protection, make them beg and pray to a higher power, basically, for example, our government, or God himself, itself, herself. In my videos, I usually talk about like-minded people when it comes to positivity, so people who all the time push each other to become a better version of themselves, who do not doubt themselves, who never would actually dare to put someone else down. In fact, once you have proven yourself to be worthy of their time, for example, their assets and resources, they are very likely to going to hand out their hand and help you up, because you have shown through time and effort you are different than the rest. You are worth to be talked to. You are worth of someone to be hanging around with. Because people who have overcome themselves, people who have succeeded in life, and that could be anything, could be money related, fame related, personal related, family orientated, for example. They have seen and witnessed time and time again, it is not worth to hang around with losers, with people of low frequency, of low vibrational activity, basically. People who do not want to evolve, who actually thrive on putting other people down. Because climbing up the ladder of success, once again, it could be related to anything, basically means you have to overcome yourself. You have to overcome your emotions. You have to overcome your limited belief and thinking system. You have to overcome how you respond to a different scenario. You need to be able to overcome yourself. You need to become someone else. You need to be able to be capable actually of holding your ground for extended periods of time, which once again is a very uncomfortable process to endure. You have to show willpower. You have to endure a lot of things. You have to endure the opinions of other people, your own family, of friends, of the workplace you are inside in. You have to basically stand your ground, sometimes against societal norms. And that means enormous pressure is on that very particular individual. And if that individual is not strong enough on the inside, they are easily shaken by outside influences and opinions. And that is actually what governments worldwide have been on for thousands of years. The establishment in its time always knew how to, for example, provoke fear in their subjects in order to control and manipulate a narrative in a certain direction so they get certain responses from the population. By repeating all the time fear, by repeating certain phrases, certain pictures, certain outcomes, even if it's just an imaginary threat that actually will never play out in the real world. Once you get people to believe that on the regular, they're easy to be manipulated too, because they are asking for higher protection. Governments worldwide throughout time have created certain scenarios. What could be those scenarios, you ask, for example? Well, let's think about it. Poverty, the fear of starvation, the fear to be overrun by the enemy, wild enemy, beasts in the shadows, in the woods, they're just lurking for helpless women and children. They're attacking them, they're raping them, they're eating them. We have to defend the nation, the city, whatever the case it is, the castle, We have to go after them. We cannot allow that to happen any longer. The fear of hellfire during the dark times and before as well. Buy your papers. Buy those salvation papers with your silver coins. And you might escape eternal flames, eternal despair and destruction, basically. People believe that fully. 100% without even questioning that. Whoever dared to question that was very suspicious. Eventually, that is actually a witch, a magician, a wizard, very dangerous to the establishment. Someone who is able to critically think. Very directly related actually to today's time, the last 4 years. If you don't, you might die. People believe that. People never question that actually something very, very wrong is going on. The path of destruction, basically. And now, more people are dying than before. And they still are unable to think about it, to be able to put it into relation. What is going on? What has been going on? Is there maybe a master plan behind everything? Why did they push for harder restrictions and then suddenly stopped? I mentioned that in a few of my videos why that actually is the case, and if you are interested in them, you can watch that. So I've actually already mentioned they are repeating every single time certain phrases, certain pictures, certain meanings to provoke certain outcomes. The philosopher Voltaire actually mentioned already so many years back then. Someone is able to make you believe in absurdities. They are actually also able for you to commit to atrocities. And once again, if you want to be someone who is unable to be influenced by the outside world, by the outside influences, societal norms, family norms, you have to do certain things. The family is expecting that. Family's honor is on the table, to be lost. And if you ask them what honor actually is, they don't know. So if you are or want to become someone who is unable to be shaken by the outside world, you need to be strong on the inside. You need to be someone with, once again, patience. You need to be someone who is skeptic. You're listening to certain information, also my information, and then you're able to research, for example, or put everything together. What you have learned over the years, and then you make your mind. And very important, number 3, you want to know the truth. Most people don't want to know the truth because the truth is very painful. The truth hurts. It might hurt your business to say the truth. You might lose millions of dollars, millions of euro by telling the truth. Business deals gone. Whatever the case it is, actually, everything is gone. People might not like you, especially on the internet, social media. You need to fake it. Yeah? Everyone expects the truth, but they don't say it because it might once again hurt the business deal, hurt the business partner. You need to be around like-minded people who are strong, like you, for example, or like myself. The world is going to change. The world is going and needs to change into a direction where you openly are able to fully express the truth. Where a simple handshake is actually enough to close a deal, and no longer, for example, is it needed to write everything on paper and lawyers and court and I don't know, the judge needs to look at it. And the world is going to change and it needs to change. So a lot of things need to happen, have to happen. And yes, a lot of people need to go because everything is going into higher perspective. A handshake should be enough. Your honor should be enough that you are respected amongst your friends, amongst society. That would be actually a great thing. Once again, simple handshake. People know you speak the truth because you actually said it from the very beginning against all odds, against whatever. And because you stood your ground, because what you're saying comes from your heart, not from the mind where it thinks about money, fame, status, whatever the case it is. And because time, for some people, also myself, is the best friend. Because through time, people see lie after lie after lie after lie has been played out. And that person, that individual, from the very beginning, told the truth, told the truth, told the truth, told the truth. And at one point, people are able to reflect that. See that path that you went. Alone in most cases. And later on, they want to join you. Because now, here it's very comfortable to join because so many people are actually seeing what you have been talking about that long. Here, very uncomfortable. No one, or close to no one, might have listened to you. If you think about it, modern times, I mentioned it already, technology is all the time advancing. We have now a magical box called television. Television, to tell you a vision. Choose a program to program yourself. People do actually not pay any attention anymore in today's time. People are completely consumed by media. They are overwhelmed by information. Hence, it's also a spiritual and informational war going on right now that people do not actually process as one. Because for many people, it was just simply going with the narrative, just do this and the story's over. What else is there to think? Everyone else who is seeking out the truth, who wants to know the truth, the deeper meaning on the whole story, is basically a conspiracy moron, a tinfoil hat idiot. Even though you now see the regular, normal, average moron is the complete moron, the moronic moron. And the people who are looking for the truth, they're not able to be manipulated because they see the world with different eyes. The same world completely looks different. That's a very powerful process actually to happen for an individual, because most people in this world, they might be 50, 60, 70, 80. They've never woken up, not a single time. They've never questioned anything. They might have felt at one point things are not right in this world, but they never questioned it. They never actually decided to be the one to look for the truth. That's painful. Because being able to look for the truth means you are strong on the inside. You're not shaken by, once again, the outside influence of your family, your friends, work, societal norms. What is today's society? Today's society is basically a bunch of low vibrational, weak-minded, idiotic, no discipline at all people. mentally fucked up society. Only caring for their image, yeah, to be seen in a good light. Once again, mentioned that in many of my videos. They have no boundaries. They easily are able to be manipulated for money, especially. And they will do everything to be seen in a good light. Be it in the family, be it on social media, once again. The system actually knows very well, for example, because they have such great amount of money. They are able to research into things that people are actually not even questioning. Not even the thought process of that is actually not even appearing, in someone's mind. Why, for example, if people go, might be a funny example. Why is it, for example, people going into a grocery shop, the goods on eye level are expensive. There might be a similar product, but you have to bow and it costs less. You have to go to your knees, which is something you have to be consciously doing. Kneeling, squatting requires all the muscles actually in your body. You need to go down. You need to be awake for that moment. Having everything on eye level, having everything on the level of your hands, that could be at one point become actually very automated. People could be on autopilot doing things. People, the way they wake up, what they're doing right after waking up, everything is a routine at one point. They're not thinking, they're not questioning things anymore because they're unable to do so. If you go shopping, for clothes, for example, why do you have to circle around islands? Why are people then walking on a carpet suddenly? Because the carpet is very comfortable for the feet. It might actually give people a feeling of home. Yeah, underlined by great smell, underlined by music, silent music in the background. Do you think this is just random? They very well know how to manipulate people to stay longer in a shop. They know how to manipulate people to buy certain things. They know how to manipulate events so people get provoked by it, not questioning it even. They're immediately, in today's time, on the phone writing something. They might have seen something on TV. 1 minute later, a moron already writes, and thousands of idiots are contributing to it, for example, if it comes to bullshit TV channels. Yeah. They know it. They know very well how to get people hooked up on something, addicted to something. Being able to get a certain outcome that they have already planned. They know if they want to get to C, they have to do B and A. And they know that they will get the people. Yeah. Hence, once again, patience, skepticism, and wanting to know the truth. That takes time. This is not something you can just goggle it, and 30 minutes later you know everything. That might be a process of half a year. That might be years, actually, to understand, if we go by the large scale, world events to understand. People don't do it. People don't question that. People in today's world basically suffer from threats in their mind. Imagined, nothing else. They might not even play out in the real world, never will. Yet it makes people unable to do something, to think about something, to go in a certain direction they know from their heart they should be doing, for example. Whatever the case it is. Once again, unable to do something, unable to think, unable to process information. Basically being useless in that moment. Hoping for help, hoping for someone else to get them out of misery. Might be different people, might be a government, might be God himself, herself, itself. energy itself, whatever the case it is. They are not able to control their thoughts. They are unable to slow down. Another big problem, especially when it comes to social media. Short attention span, not able to connect events, not being able to actually question who they are, how they can overcome a situation. They can't process that stuff. They're just sitting, overthinking, being helpless, being an idiot, basically. And time goes by. Time gets wasted greatly. And that might be the case also for other people that they are hanging around with, that they are associating themselves with. Their time now gets wasted too. Hence, I said, have strong boundaries. You cannot help everyone, and why you shouldn't. I made a video about that. Time has changed people. All the fears back then, centuries ago, about starvation, about enemies attacking the border, about thieves and thugs, arriving at the village at night, murdering someone. Hellfire, buy your papers once again, and all this crap and nonsense. That is gone, basically. People in today's world actually almost have no fear. People think like that's a very cruel world and blah, blah, blah. But in fact, it's actually the opposite. There has been never more peace in the world than today. Never in history had been so many people around finally being financially independent or on the way to become financially independent. So much wealth, so much prosperity, so much possibility of the probability. And there's still morons complaining that they didn't get the chance to do certain things, that the world is unfair and blah 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 blah. They're just losers and nothing else, unable to control their thoughts, their behavior. They can't change their perception because they don't want to. It's uncomfortable. They can't sit with themselves, hence they're easy to be manipulated by outside influences. Okay? This is very important to understand. There is no fear to be attacked by wild animals. Nothing. Close to nothing. It might happen, of course, in certain countries. Alligators, lions, wolves, bears, grizzlies. That's very rare, though, compared to several hundred or thousands of years ago. All gone. So they had to create different scenarios, something else that gets people's attention, to be shocked, to be in fear, to be unable to think and process that event unfolding, whatever the case it is. And the establishment of its time, of course, had the solution later on. They just let certain time pass to provoke maximum fear and then come up with a solution. Quick and easy.
So you say.
And people believe that. And people believe it today. No one on the outside world is going to save you. You have to save yourself. You have to put in the work to be able to clearly see what's going on. There might be great people, of course, on the external world, but you have to save yourself. You can't wait for a president to save you. You cannot wait for anyone to save you. That president, for example, that everyone is hoping now to come back, might be gone again in 4 years, and then chaos is unfolding itself again. That can't be the case. You need to use your head, finally, people out there, It's crazy just to think that people are hoping for someone else, or especially religious people. Jesus needs to help them. No, help yourself. Help yourself activate Christ consciousness. Jesus is not returning to earth. Christ consciousness is coming back, which is going to elevate the people, okay? Don't wait for the man in sandals. Help yourself. So you can be proud of yourself in the end. I hope that helps. I think it's a great combination of the two videos to once again put some light on certain techniques, what they're doing, the establishment of today's time. and centuries ago in the past. And if you think about it, you probably come to the same conclusion that most of the time people on this planet have been, and if they don't wake up, they will be played until they finally start to question on a large scale. No, not large boobies, but large scale boobies. Yeah, I hope it helps. Have the courage to be yourself.